Morning, guys. Friday, the 5th of June. Actually, it's not too cold, so it's quite lucky to have a chat. Financial fitness, episode number 4. All right, so very excited to share some insight with you guys. Hoping quite some nice SME owners join us, and don't worry, I also upload this onto my IGTV later on. And I also uploaded onto our YouTube channel, so you can always go and catch up if you've missed something. All right, guys. So I've loaded something on my Instagram. It's 4 circles. So I'm gonna reference a little bit to that, and I want you guys just to keep it in your mind. Okay, so. Today, these sessions are financial fitness sessions, and it's for SME specifically, and the reason why it's financial fitness as well, financial because I myself am a chartered accountant, so I have, I've got knowledge in that field, so I'm able to share that with you, and I love to share that with you openly. SME space because I've got a massive passion for SMEs to help them grow, and especially in South Africa. And my family actually we all have a big passion for it. If you don't know yet, my wife's blog is all about actual SME businesses, and I see Anna Patat is with us. Hello. Anyway, so the other things also I'm actually quite big into fitness for some other reason. I can't necessarily tell you why. I'm glad I'm into it, but I can't tell you why specifically. So financial and fitness, it all kind of like fits together for us. So it's lekker. All right. So it's the focus here is to help SME businesses become financially fitter. Okay. And when we talk about fitness and finances, I want you guys to just see something and why it's better to think of it that way. Okay, first of all, especially in this space where we're in now, where it's very difficult to cope financially as an SME business doing stuff on the old way because of COVID and the way that we now have to restructure our businesses. When you become fitter, you actually become leaner. When you're leaner, you have to use less. Okay, so it's important for our businesses to understand this. The fitter we are financially, the leaner we are. And the leaner we are, the more actually we can do within the same business. Okay, because we'll be able to stretch it further. So, if we are a clunky lump business, like a heavy business, your cash flow is far more difficult to manage than when your business is lean and mean. As in life, that's very similar. Okay, so that's why it's financial fitness. So today, what I'm going to focus on is a lot of the guys out there, a lot of you owners out there actually understand the concept of SEO very well. So it's called search engine optimization. Okay, so the reason why a lot of people understand is because they understand digitally this is the only way that their businesses can actually be seen on the internet. If the SEO is good, they will rank better when people search for them, and suddenly their business becomes a little bit more visible for them and their customers. So ultimately, hopefully, if the search is a good search, they'll get to this business and they'll see what you have to offer, and ultimately, hopefully, if you have what they want, they'll buy it. Okay. Now, as a business owner, that's a component of the business. It's an important component, but it's not everything. It's a component of your business. So in these 4 circles, I want you guys to envisage, I've touched on the 3 most important components of business in previous sessions, but today I want you to see 4 pillars of a business. Okay, so the first one is people. The second one is products and services. The third one is tools. And then the fourth one is procedures or system. Okay, so these are very important components which we've realized actually makes businesses tick over and work. Okay, so why is it so important to actually have these components seen? Okay, so product and services, well, you sell a product or a service. Okay, so that's why that's important. People, why people? Well, people ultimately make anything go, and that's the customers that you have. They will be people, they buy from you, and your suppliers, they will supply you with whatever you need. And then obviously you and your team yourself, these are the people in your business. Okay, then we've got tools. So these are all the tools. So SEO, for instance, is something in your business that's a tool. It is something that helps, that can help your business, okay, but it's not the business. And then the last one is system or procedure. That's the process in which your business does things, okay. So what I would want you to do, SEO is search engine optimization, okay. I would like you to actually, as business owner, think of BEO, business engine optimization. These three are four bubbles, okay, four pillars of the business. I want you to see as all components are equally important, okay. So there's products and services, there is your there is people, there is tools, and there is this procedures of systems bubble, okay. They're all important. You need to draw them together in some way to speak to each other. So why I like the concept of optimization. Optimization does actually mean to make something work better, okay. So when you optimize something, just like a search engine optimization, you make something work better, okay. And in this environment, it's very important for our business to work better, because if we work better, we work quicker. If we work quicker, we work cheaper. And if we're cheaper, which is a cash flow constraint currently, you're actually doing well for your business, okay. So when you bring these bubbles together, just know that from a financial point of view, it is extremely important to bring them closer together and to have these business optimizations environment going. Okay, so let's bring this back to finance, where this session is about. How do I bring this to finance? Well, finance ultimately would help you. It'll tell you something about how do I optimize financial environments considering these four bubbles. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, so I mentioned Anna Patat out there. So she sells baby clothes, and if you are selling baby clothes, you ultimately would have this idea. Okay, so let's think. First thing first is products or services. So that's a product. If you're going to bring this into your business, let's say it's a baby grow, this new baby grow. Then the next thing would be, well, people would be customers that you need to sell it to, and people that need to supply it to you, you know, I think you call it SMTs, so that's your suppliers. And then the next thing would be, well, what are my tools? Okay, well, I'm going to use my internet, then I'm going to use an accounting system that helps me capture it and actually order it and keep track of it. And then the last thing is the procedure. How do I actually do this whole thing? How does the customer come in? How do they actually firstly, how do they literally place the order, etc., etc. Okay, so now think of it in a sense of a financial environment. Firstly, that product is in need of an item code. Okay, so an item code is important. That item code needs to track through from you considering the product itself up to you loading it on your accounting system, so that your customer, when they order it, they can actually order it at that customer code. And then from a supplier's point of view, you can order it from your supplier and then bring it into your stock on that item code, so that you ultimately can have that stock go up, and when it goes out, it reflects it going out. So that's now you using your tools through your website and your accounting system, and when it goes out, your customer can get an invoice, which they need. Your supplier, when they give you an invoice, you ultimately can load that on your system, so SARS ultimately has it. And then you have the whole thing coming together through some kind of a reporting environment. So your environment that you're now creating is important for you to consider. Okay, so in these four bubbles, what I have on my Instagram actually is it's slightly separated in the middle. Okay, so why is it separated in the middle? Why is it not touching? Well, that's you. You need to understand, you need to put yourself there in the middle of it. You need to understand all these environments of your business to financially really make sense of it. It's actually extremely strategic, and for you to understand the whole picture is important. That's why they say be careful of working in your business. So if you're going to work in one of those bubbles, you're not touching all of them. So you kind of have to put yourself in a position where you're saying, I'm overseeing all of it, making sure everything happens, but not necessarily doing every single thing. Okay, so let's again work this towards the financial side. Why is this so important? Why are we talking about this even? Okay, well, the more we optimize, the leaner we become, the better we can be on a financial fitness level, so to be a healthier business. Ultimately, what you would like to do is you'd like to make decisions based on your customers' your customers buying from you, what they're buying, how regularly they're buying, what kind of GP percentages are you making on them, how easy is it to make, what does it cost, how long does it take, all these kind of things. Okay, so why I really want to bring this all together is when you bring all of this into a database environment, your business's data, which ultimately I believe you should see as a massive asset. When you bring all these environments together into one environment and you can really look at it intelligently, you can now suddenly say, well, okay, I can make calls on this baby grow that we've now mentioned in the beginning. I can now literally go and say, this baby grow costs so much, so many customers have bought it in this month, in this day, in this year, this is the amount of spend that I've had overall, and this is the amount of energy I've put in. So the more information, the more data you're building around this, and the more you can actually bring this together and bring it into one database, the better your ability is to make decisions on the overall picture. So a lot of times what people have done, they go, well, baby grow cost 20 Rand at Woolworths, or it cost, at my SMT 10 Rand. If I buy 100 of them, then it's 1,000 Rand. And then it cost me so much for my thread, and so much for my seamstress. And so they go on, they say, and they add up all these costs, and then they go, that's the cost of the product. And then they try and sell it based on that, on that premise, that single kind of pricing model. It's very difficult to actually do it that way because that's not your business. That's just a component of your business. That's literally your product to get it, that it's in a complete format. But what about the spending on Instagram, the spending on your website? What about the spending on Facebook? The actual time that it takes just to do all of this from you as management team. What about the logistics of it? To get it to your customer, all these kind of things you actually need to pull together. And if you don't have that in a centralized environment, one centralized ERP database, you're going to find it very difficult to really, really make decisions that are holistic of nature. Remember, they say the devil's in the detail, but if you don't even have the detail, then, well, you won't even know where the devil is, and then you really have a problem. Okay, so you creating one centralized environment where all of this can ultimately feed you into is very important. Okay, so how do you do this BEO stuff? Because it's not necessarily so logical. So it's a very strategic environment, and as I said, you need to invest your own time in it and really need to go and say, well, this is something that I find so important that I will ultimately really spend time in structuring this whole bubble environment in a way that it speaks to each other. And remember now, it's not a put my head down for one day and everything after that day or after that week is now in place and it's perfect. It actually takes continual improvement. Okay, so it's like your house, you build your house day one, it's cool, then something changes and then you have to change it again. Then it's no longer cool, it's not 100% a fit for your need. Same with your customers, same with the environment, same with your business. It needs to evolve as you go. So you're going to have to revisit this quite regularly. Okay. Now, from a financial point of view, you ultimately have stakeholders in the business. Your stakeholders are your employees. Second is your shareholders. Then it's your bank. Then it's SARS. All these stakeholders are there. Okay. So you need to think of yourself as, how can I position myself in between all of these environments in a way that I can ultimately understand the big picture, and secondly, make decisions today on this big picture, and then thirdly, have my stakeholders also have ability to see it now all, to give me help and guidance as we go along in this route. Okay. So the nice thing about something like a vehicle, for instance, very few of us in this chat actually understands how a vehicle works. How does it work in the engine? How does the combustion engine work versus a manual gear lever versus a automatic gear lever? How does just how does the axles work? All these kind of things we don't understand. But what do we have? We don't need that as a driver. We need a few overall understandings and a few overall feedbacks from the car, which comes through our dashboard. Okay, so that little dashboard there right in front of you gives you so much that you as a driver can actually, without having massive technical knowledge about everything, make decisions in the moment. Oh, I need petrol. Oh, I need oil. My water's finished. I'm going too fast. My vehicle needs to be serviced because it's at a certain amount of kilometers since the previous service. That's kind of stuff that you need, and that's critical for your car to remain an asset to you. If you don't look out for that, it ultimately will become less and less of an asset and ultimately become just an expense for you. So if you're not looking in your business in this way regularly, remember, you look at your dashboard on your car regularly. It's also live. It goes and it actually ticks as you go. If you don't have that regular feedback from your business, it's very difficult for you to make a decision. You actually have once a month or once every 2 months, you've got a set of management accounts, and it's, this historical data, like it's so old, it's no longer relevant, and you're kind of just doing it for SARS or your auditors. It's not valuable for you then as a business owner to make decisions on. You need something that ultimately gives you feedback the whole time. What is my GP per product? Okay, how much did I sell this month versus this month last year? How many customer inquiries do I have? How many open orders do I have? What does my customer database look like? Can I, do I have all information captured per customer? How many suppliers do I have? Are my suppliers still financially healthy? How long do they take to deliver to me? These things are actually great in a financial database. And if you look at it as an ERP database and you're bringing all this together the whole time and you're reconsidering and you're tweaking and your business optimizing the whole time, you're actually starting to move forward. You'll be surprised as to how many products you realize are actually not that great, and how many products you think aren't that great are better than what you thought, because now you have a picture, you have reality. Remember, it's important to have empirical data at your disposal. You can't make decisions it's like if the government were just to say, you know what, let's go on lockdown because that's the way I felt last night. I just went to bed and this morning I feel that I need to put everybody on lockdown because that'll be awesome and I think it may work. No, they go on empirical data and they say, well, I have gotten feedback from researchers that have told me that this is good, it's better this than the opposite. So you need the same with your business. You can't just go out on a whim and say, well, it is that way. It's too costly. If you want to do R&D on your business, then do it in small little batches rather, where you're not spending so much. Rather go and do small little batches. But once you've done it, you want that empirical data coming out of it, which is clear, analytic, and really granular to a level where you can say, but I can compare products with products, cost prices with selling prices, demand, quotations, all of these things I can bring together and suddenly have a nice big picture of my business. And now I can make a call similar to what you see in that final dashboard coming in from a business, from a vehicle. But remember, you want to make sure that you can also drill down to that finer detail. So when you are there and you say, yeah, I can see this data coming out of my business, but now I want to see, for instance, how many quotes I've got open, but now I want to see the detail. For who did I send that quotes? What is it about? What are you guys asking? Why haven't they come back to me? Now you want to go down to detail. So it also needs to be accessible, and that's why it's good to have not only a dashboard, but a detailed database of transactions in the background that builds up. Have you ever thought of, for instance, just some of your digital assets? How are you capturing digital assets in your business? Well, if you're spending, let's say, 3, 4, 5 hours a week on your social media platforms, well, if it's not an asset, then I think it's dangerous to spend that type of time. And if it is an asset, how are you capturing it in your business? How are you able to get feedback from the business, through the business, of those platforms? So let's say, for instance, Instagram this month you had impressions of 2,000 versus last week you had 1,000. And this week you had 3 inquiries versus last week you had 5 inquiries. Are you actually comparing those two? Now, it sounds nonsensical because if I go into Instagram, I can see it. Yes, but now I have to go onto Instagram, then I have to go onto Facebook, then I have to go onto my Google Analytics, then I have to go onto my YouTube channel, then I have to go and try in my mind to put this all together. It's much better to have, in some way, it coming into your database, in your ERP database, and then suddenly you have a bigger picture where you can see everything together. Now you can really correlate your marketing spend to your output. They call it return on investment. Okay, so that goes with marketing, that goes with everything. So once you're a business owner, remember now what you want is for your customers to get what they want, you to remain profitable, otherwise they can no longer buy from you, and for you to have return on investment for your shareholders, because if you don't have that, you also don't have a business. It will ultimately fail. Okay, so business engine optimization. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and your coffee. Okay. It's been great having you guys here. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can maybe throw them now. I can quickly have a look. If you do not have questions right away and you would rather want to get in contact with me, we're very happy to help SME owners out there, very passionate about helping businesses grow. You can get in touch with me through my email, alec@mybi.co.za. You can also just DM me. Alternatively, you can go to our website if you want contact details, mybi.co.za. So yeah, very, very cool to hear from you guys, and thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic day and a great weekend, and just remember, Lego brains taste like coffee. Cheers guys.